Hello there and welcome back to my channel. I am the Rogue Witcher. Thank you for joining me. In today's video, we'll be doing a breakdown and review of It Welcome to Derry episode 4. I gotta say, I think it was a very good episode where we learned a hell of a lot about where this story is going and a lot of background information on Pennywise. So if you want to hear my thoughts and my feelings about it, then stick around for the rest of the video. Just before we get into it though, guys, as always, if you want to help support the channel and its growth, engagement is just as important as views. So likes and comments are super appreciated. And I just want to hear from you guys of what you're thinking and feeling about the show so far. I'd love to hear all about it. So feel free to do so. All right then, guys, let's get into this review and breakdown of It Welcome to Derry, episode 4. We start off where we left off at the back end of the last episode. The kids, of course, have got the proof in their mind. They've got the pictures of the spirits that attack them in the graveyard. They go to the police believing they're going to convince them and show them the evidence. But what a surprise. The pictures are not what they appear to be. Pennywise has messed with them thinking that they had the pictures when it's just in reality normal pictures of the graveyard, and all the spirits and ghosts that they thought they got shots of course, are not on them. There is, however, a brief shot of a distorted looking statue figure, which we know is Pennywise, which they tried to convince the police is that they are having none of it. Realising that perhaps there could be a bit more to this story than meets the eye, the kids start thinking about, is there a pattern? Has this happened before in Derry? And so Lily decides to ask a friend who she met at the loony bin, their words, not mine, and ask her as a resident of Derry, has there been previous stuff like this in previous years? She makes out that upon thinking about it, that yes, there has been, and it has a bit of a history in Derry, but she doesn't seem too worried about it. I'm not too sure about her character, I'll be honest. She seems a bit weird. She's very friendly to Lily, yes, but I don't know. There's just something a bit wrong with her, so I'm a bit uneasy about her character. Will Hanlon and his dad decide to spend some good old father-son time doing a bit of fishing. But what a shock, it all goes a bit awry as well. This is Welcome to Derry, guys. When his dad is gone to the car to get more stuff for fishing, Will is attacked by a very popular dream that he has where his dad is burnt from having crashed his plane, and he attacks Will in the water. Leroy, his dad, comes running out to try and help and picks up his son and says, "Who attacked you?" And he says, "It's you." Unbelievably then, a balloon appears, and it looks as if not only can Will see it, but his dad. Very interesting. We then shift focus to Halloran, who's got a new digs at the Air Force base that the general has granted him. As he's unloading and getting things ready, he has a vision. It's a woman standing in the forest preaching to him. Of course, it's Pennywise messing with him. Shortly after, Leroy arrives, asking questions, explains to Haran the attack on his son. What does he know? It's all very mysterious. You know, he knows he has these powers. He wants to know, what are they chasing? Is it some sort of fear machine? He says the Russians are working on things. What do you know? He says, listen, I don't know anything, and it's something you don't ask too much about. Stay out of this one. I'm sorry about your son, but I'm just taking orders just like you are. The kids decide to regroup and think about what is happening and what are the motives. And of course, Will comes up with a very interesting idea, a very smart one, that what if Pennywise isn't trying to kill them straight away? He very well could have. He was alone when he was being attacked in the water when his dad wasn't there, and they've had the opportunity to in the graveyard. Why isn't he taking them out? And he makes a very, very educated guess, well, not even a guess, just based in science, that certain predators like their prey scared because it makes their meat tastier with certain chemicals that are released in the body. And he makes that connection that Pennywise is trying to scare them before he's going to attack and of course eat them. The kids are very scared about this, so they hatch a plan to try and combat that. Lily steals a few of her pills from her mum, saying that they will help them not be scared. It'll take the edge off, and that might help them, you know, not get too scared, and therefore Pennywise might not want to try and attack them. Meanwhile, Mrs. Hanlon decides that she wants to help out Mr. Grogan, another African American who's been, attacked in the town, and she feels as a certain responsibility to help. It's been her previous experience where she's helped the community and of course fellow black people who have been persecuted during this time period. So she reaches out to try and help, especially because her son is smitten with his daughter, sorry. And it's very interesting because it's what I suspected. She finally gets to the nits and gritty of where he was on the night where, because he made out he was somewhere that he wasn't. And of course, it does turn out that he is sleeping with a white woman, which of course would put him, his family, and the woman he's sleeping with family in extreme danger. And he isn't very keen on coming forward with the idea because of course it could harm all of them. Back at the school, Marge, Lily's friend, decides that she is going to try and make up with Lily and try and patch things up, but it's a ruse. Her and these other girls called the Patty Cakes, I know, hilarious name, have decided to, set up Lily to embarrass her. But Marge, as a second act of conscience, she's going to come, clean with Lily. But then she is attacked by Pennywise. She believes that her eyes are bulging out of her skull, and in a panic, she's trying anything to try and pull her eyes out. She ends up going mad, grabbing a screwdriver and taking it to her own eye. She then hits a power saw and cuts them off. It is very vivid, very graphic, very gory, but it was very cool. Lily obviously knows that this isn't real and tries to stop her from gouging out her eyes, because she looks like she's gouged out one, because of course there's nothing wrong with her eyes, it's all in her head. Pennywise is messing with her, wrestles the screwdriver away from her hand, but of course all the students come running in and it looks as if Loony Lily has attacked her. That night, Will is in his bed thinking about the attack that he suffered from Pennywise. He's getting very restless and he decides that he's gonna, try and just calm down a bit, look through his telescope, something that he finds soothing that his dad bought him. And of course, he sees Pennywise outside of his house. He freaks out. Leroy Hanlon comes busting in. He's like, what's going on? He says, someone's outside. He's not quite sure what it is yet, whether it's just someone stalking the house due to what his wife's getting up to, and it could be a race thing. He goes outside, can't find anyone, but lo and behold, he looks up into the trees and he sees the balloon again. This is very interesting that Pennywise is choosing to mess with adults as well as children, which does break pattern from the It films. Now, he does attack adults, but not at the same time as children. So this is very interesting that he's going after both. Is this because he knows he's being hunted by the military and he's saying all bets are off and I'm just going after anyone and everyone? Very interesting. This sets up the end of the episode and the most interesting part about it. Leroy confronts the general and says, what is going on? The general then takes him to a back room when Halloran is about to conduct a what's the word I'm looking for? Interrogation, where he puts his own consciousness and mind into the mind of Daniel, the nephew of Rose, obviously who knows about Pennywise and has the experiences with the general. Through his interrogation, we see young Daniel being told the story of Pennywise's origins, which was the best part of the episode. It was absolutely awesome. We find out that Pennywise, millions and millions of years ago, was sort of banished to Earth by who and what we don't know, but was trapped in a falling star. But upon impact, it shattered and he escaped. He survived. How? We don't know, because he's not feeding on anything. Maybe animals. Hey, dinosaurs, who knows? And anyway, millions of years later, of course, people are then formed, and we have the first tribesman of the Native American Indian tribe in that region, and he devises a weapon from the shattered remains of the star, the glass. He makes a weapon. His tribe then, of course, keep this weapon, and that is a way of protecting themselves from Pennywise. They call Pennywise the Galoo. Now, they decide that it's okay, we're okay, we've got this weapon, we will just stay out his hunting grounds, stay out of the forest, and we'll be okay. Not too sure why Pennywise can't leave the forest. He's a super powerful being. He's been then alive millions of years. They say he's too weak. That seems a bit okay. Maybe he hasn't fed enough, but over millions of years you think he would, but whatever. Colonizers turn up and they don't care. They go into the forest, and of course Pennywise attacks and destroys them and kills them, and he's getting strong enough that maybe he can leave the forest, which of course is a real problem for the tribes. They decide to take a vote. They're thinking, no, we're getting out of Dodge, we're leaving. Of course, one of the young girls from the leader of the tribes doesn't want to leave and uproot her home. She decides to take the shard, the weapon, and go into the forest to try and find more of the broken star and to forge more weapons from it so they can, of course, stay and maybe even kill Pennywise so the threat could be over. Unfortunately, the parent, her mother, one of the leaders of one of the tribes, realizes what happens, sends in a squad of fighters to try and save her daughter, but they are attacked by Pennywise. They're picked off one by one, him mimicking certain things, getting into their head and killing them all. But it was a really cool scene. It was really well done. I absolutely loved it. Grief-stricken, the daughter says, no, I'm sticking to my original purpose, and she does. She goes and finds the site where Pennywise landed, and they break off more pieces of the star, and they have 13 pieces. They bury them in strategic places around the forest, trapping Pennywise inside. And that is why, up until the modern day, he cannot leave that area. Very, very interesting. We then end the episode with Halloran asking him, how can I find these pieces? And he says, Taniel says, go under the house, follow the sewer lines, and you will find them. Now, we know, because of the film, that is where where his lair is. So the question is the forest in now modern times part of Derry? Was it when it was colonized, more people turned up, that they, built over it and it's now part of the town? Otherwise, how is Pennywise able to attack in Derry? Because we see him in the film. He kidnaps the girl, I'm forgetting her name off the top of my head, but he kidnaps her from her house directly, so he's physically there. We've seen him outside when Will was looking at the telescope, or is this just a projection and his power is that strong that he's still trapped, but he projects it and can still mess with people from within the forest? I don't think so, because that won't make sense to have a forest. We don't see any mention of the forest, of course, in the It film. I think the forest is then built on, and you have modern day Derry, and that answers the question of why he never leaves Derry, because he's trapped. He is trapped, so he has to just feast on the residents of the town of Derry, and I think that really does explain it. I think it was really cool, the story of the Galoo and the legend, seeing him crash down from the stars itself. Who cast him out? I don't know, but it's cool, and I'm sure we'll get more information on that. And it was just really sick to really understand Pennywise's origins, his place in Derry more, and the legend behind it. And now we know what the Air Force are looking for. They want the shards because they believe that that will lead them to be able to control Pennywise and use it to their own ends. Very, very cool. I'm hoping coming up that we're going to get a really cool episode of where Pennywise first meets the man who was Pennywise and decides to take on that mantle of the clown. That would be really cool. Alright then guys, that was my review and breakdown of It Welcome to Derry episode 4. It was a really good one. Please smash a like on the video, helps us beat those algorithms. Comment down below what you think. I think it's been a fantastic episode and I'm really buzzing about it. I'd love for you to subscribe. My goal of 250 by the end of the year. We're getting closer and closer. We're on 227 at the minute. So thank you for the support. And yeah, subscribe and stick around. I won't waffle on any longer, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next video as always. I've been the Rogue Witcher. I'll see you next time. Adios.